7 o'clock Tuesday evening. Time for some Toy Tuesday. Time to check out some cool memorabilia. Since we are live, we will give everybody a few seconds to get their notifications and get jumped on with us. And we'll get rolling here in just a few seconds. All right. Well, if you've seen the post or seen the text, you'll know that we went down to Oklahoma a couple weeks ago, got to hang out with our good friend Doug Prey at the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Co. Love going down there. The place is amazing. I mean, cars that you just don't see. You just don't see them. Auburns and Cords. Once in a great while at a really big car show, one or two may pop up, but just not something that you're familiar with or see regularly. And that's what's so awesome about it. They're restoring these cars. They're servicing those cars. Rico and Jess are on with us. Glad you made it. And it's just so cool what they do, the parts they have, and what their craftsmen are capable of when they take these cars, all the way from restorations to literally building a brand new Auburn. They literally are building a brand new Auburn G3 Boattail Speedster on an original Auburn chassis with all the driveline components upgraded to modern times. It's a regular 8-cylinder Auburn. Lee's on with us. Lee got his can. Glad it made it there, Lee. But they're taking the actual Auburn engines, going through the internal, so they look stock on the outside, getting more horsepower out of them, making more drivable. That's what's so amazing about that place. Glad you made it old school. Is all the way from the restorations to the custom work to brand new Auburns. From a company that was incorporated in 1900, and here we are in 2021, and they are building a new Generation 3 Auburn Speedster. So, El Blanco, someone said the best price to get a classic fixture up is towards the East Coast. East Coast scares me because of the rust. I ship an awful lot of sheet metal to the East Coast. So, you'd have to make sure it was something good and solid from the East Coast. But anyway, when we go, every time I go down there, it's just, there's something new, there's something different, and it's so cool that, 121 years later, Chris is on with us. Glad you made it, Chris. The Auburn company is going to produce another car based on the design, the Gordon Bury design from the 1935-1936 Boattail Speedster. Well, it's going to be a new modern car with new internals and look correct from the mid-30s. So, super amazing projects. They've got some other cool things working. Williams on, glad you made it. Plus a few other custom projects that they're about to announce as well that are really exciting. So that's right, old school. It is amazing. Be sure to check them out if you're on Facebook through Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company or acdfactory.com on the web. But that's why I love going there. Doug's a great guy, and if you're curious about the whole story about the company, be sure to call him up and get the books. They've got the books on the shelf. They're ready to ship, and they're just great stories. Old school is not on fake book, yeah. Ryland's on. Glad you made it. But look him up at acdfactory.com, and you can call Brian up. He's their parts guy. He takes care of all their shipping, and get the books and read the stories because it is amazing. And to walk into that place and just see this stuff, because like I said, where do you walk in and see Auburns, being restored? The video we did on the Auburn Salon, amazing car. The Boattail Speedsters, just, and the cords that they had there. Like I said, you just don't see it. You just don't see it. We did the video where we watched the cord shift, the manual 4-speed transmission, the cord shift with their electric over vacuum system on a 4-speed manual transmission from 1935. So we've got a lot of content out there. Be sure to check it out. But obviously, I love going there. I get all excited about it, if you guys can't tell. But, my daughter loves cords, always has loved cords, even before we ever went there. And so when we're there, of course, we're looking around, looking for, obviously we like memorabilia. That's why you're here with us. And always looking for some cool pieces to add to our collection. And be sure to, if you are on Facebook, be sure to keep up with the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company's page. I've got a bunch of stuff I'm going to start posting for them. I've been helping them out with their Facebook page as well. So lots of cool pictures I got down there we're going to start posting. But while I was taking pictures, while I was looking around their parts department, while I was checking things out, I know this may come as a shock to no one, but I found some cool stuff that I thought we needed to own for our collection. So that's what we're going to show you tonight. Yeah, I should buy part ownership in the company. I don't know if I could do that or not, but it is amazing, and I do love it, and that's why I do help them with their Facebook and things like that, because obviously you're here because you know I have a passion for cars, and to see the Auburns and the Cords and the stuff that you just don't come across, you don't see it, it doesn't pop up, and even to be involved with them on just a minute part to help them out with little things, it's an amazing thing for me, and I'm super excited about being able to do it. But that's not why we're here. We're here to check out some more cool stuff. Now, they do still have some of these things available. You can order some of this stuff for yourself as well. There's a few of these pieces that they do have on the shelf, and you can order for your collection if you want. Just give them a call. Their numbers are on their Facebook page or on their acdfactory.com website. But you know, Brian can definitely get the books out to you, or possibly some of these other pieces as well. So we're going to flip the camera around, and we're going to show you some super cool stuff that we picked up for our collection. So we'll start off with something kind of basic. Normal yellow box, perfect circle. Obviously, perfect circle, we're probably talking about piston rings. What's unique about this box is they are branded Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company perfect circle piston rings. Brand new in the box set. Perfect circle company, still full, brand new, still sealed, never been opened. And there again, they have several of these on the shelf. You know, I don't know what they sell them for by the time they ship them and stuff, but there again, we talk about boxes a lot, about how you can set up a super cool display of boxes. You know, a lot of the boxes had their own printing on them and were really unique. This is one of those deals. So that's why we picked this up. Along those same lines, we went with these pieces here as well for the exact same reason, the packaging. Original Newell stock in the package cord parts. Now, these parts are nothing exciting. This is just a flat bracket. This is literally a nut like an axle nut. But still in the original precision and quality, genuine cord parts package. Auburn Automobile Company, Auburn, Indiana. So this stuff, yeah, O'Reilly's or AutoZone. I don't think they can supply Duesenberg parts old school. I don't even know if half the people that work at those places even know what Duesenberg is. But, you know, and this plate still has the original, same thing, original part number, original sticker on it, genuine cord parts. You know, some of this stuff, the packaging on this stuff is amazing, and that is what's so great about it, to see this stuff. And like I said, this is just a big nut. It's like an axle nut, literally. You know, it's about that big around, a big nut. But that part, nut number one, you're still here. We're just getting started. You're good. So there again, the packaging on some of this stuff is amazing, and you know, original, brand new, in the original cord packaging, cord parts. So thought that was cool. And there again, great display pieces. A couple of other pieces we picked up, and these are amazing as well. These are new old stock Auburn grill badges. 8-cylinder, 6-cylinder. For the two different engine sizes available in the Auburns, these are mid-30s. These are brand new, never been on a car. Have tiny little threaded studs on the back. And they had little tiny nuts for them is how they mounted. These are brand new, never been on a car. One 6-cylinder, one 8-cylinder. You know, been on the shelf for almost 90 years. Light shelf wear on them. They use a good polishing. But brand new, never been installed Auburn grill badges. So once again, super cool pieces. Where are you going to find that stuff? Great conversation pieces and just awesome looking deal. Awesome looking badges. Next thing, we've got another cap. This is a grease cap. We had one of these the last time. We did go ahead and grab an extra one while we were there. They do still have some of these on the shelf as well. New old stock. Yep, that's right, old school. This stuff's been around for 90 years. Original paint, original Auburn grease cap. Still on the shelf. Like I said, they have a few more of these in stock. You can call them and order one of these for your collection if you wanted. The next few pieces we've got are really pretty amazing, I think. This one's kind of rough. Make a video of the parts warehouse. Actually, I've got a bunch of stills shot. We do have some, I've got some content we shot in the parts department. Ironhead made it, glad you made it. So we do have some of that stuff that we're going to be posting here real soon. This is kind of rough. That's right, it is old, new old stock, that's for sure. This is kind of rough. It's been banged up, but the reason it's been banged up is this is an actual original knockoff for an Auburn. You can see where the edges have just been pounded and beat. You can see the original script in it. This is an actual original knockoff. Big Job made it. Glad you made it, Big Job. This is the real deal. An actual knockoff for an Auburn wire wheel from the 30s. You can see where it was threaded. And like I said, this thing shows its age. But there again, they were knockoffs. They were literally designed to be hit with a hammer on a regular basis. You can kind of make out a little bit where it shows how to spin it there. You can still make out the script in it. Just a neat piece. And like I said, they had very few of these left on the shelf. These can be restored. They do have a company that does restore those. Old school. I don't know if there was a way to torque the knockoffs. I don't think they worried about it. I think they just hit it one or two more times. And you can kind of tell by the way the edges are beat down. Maybe torque was just smack it two more times after it was tight. I don't know. But to me, there again, awesome pieces, and they tell a story and something you don't ever see. The next piece we got is another cool piece. Brass hammer. That's right, Ironhead. You're supposed to use a brass hammer. How many people really did? Another Auburn knockoff. This one's a little better condition. This had a separate tag on it. You can see the directions on it, right side. It's a mark for the right side, the way it was threaded. Yeah, that's right, old school. I don't think there were torque specs. Like I said, I think it was just smack it one more time. Obviously, been beat on the edges because that's what they were designed for. On the back, once again, threaded to bolt on and hold the wheel on. Still has a little grease even packed in this thing. There again, to me, amazing pieces of history from the Auburn Automobile Company. Original, used but original knockoffs for Auburn wire wheels. Now, we've got one more piece to check out tonight, and this piece, actually, I love. I screwed up. I took a picture of this piece the last time we were there. And when I did that, like number one says, torque back then was a BFH, a big hammer. That's, in all honesty, probably not too far off. So... But we've got one more piece, and the first time we were there a couple months ago, when I was taking some pictures in the parts department, this thing was so amazing. I pulled it out and I took a picture of it. So every time I opened up that file, this thing haunted me. I was like, man, that thing is beautiful. I got to own it. But it was expensive for what it was. But I told myself, I said, I just got to make it happen. When I go back this time, I've got to buy this piece. I've got to own this piece. I love this piece. And you guys may not get as excited about it as I have, but it's beautiful. My daughter cleaned it up. She polished it out. And to me, it's an amazing piece. It was literally the last one on the shelf. Been there for 90 years. And it was the only one that was left. So I bought it, and it's beautiful, and I love it. And I hope you guys love it as well. So now we're going to show it to you. But I wanted to kind of preface that with, I kind of backed myself into a corner by taking a picture of it and having to stare at it as it, every time I open that file for 2 or 3 months before we got back down there. Yeah. She's not quite as interested in doing lives as I am. So she helps me out quite a bit, but she's not as interested in doing the videos. But all that being said, this is the piece that haunted me for a couple months until I got back there. So I hope you guys dig it as much as I do. But this is it. This is a brand new 12-cylinder Auburn cap. Never been on a car. Brand new on the back. Was still on the shelf. Been there for, probably almost right at 90 years. It was dusty just from sitting on the shelf. That's right, Ironhead. You get what you enjoy. That's why I did this. But an amazing piece. Like I said, the last one that was there, it was dusty and dirty from sitting there. I've been working all day, so I don't really get too worried about what my shirt looks like when I'm working. But this thing is amazing. I love it. Like I said, it was dusty and dirty and grungy just from sitting on it. I mean, it had 90 years of dust on it, literally. 90 years of dust. So my daughter cleaned it up. She got some rubbing compound out. She polished it up a little bit. There's still a few little imperfections in it because it's 90 years old. But even this paint is the original paint. She polished that out. And to me, it's a stunning piece. I love it. I think it's aluminum, actually. It looks like it's aluminum, very similar to a lot of these earlier small grease caps that, we're familiar with from the 20s and 30s. So I think it's aluminum. This part of it was originally polished. And I look at the back, and that's kind of what it appears to be. Yeah, Old School says he'd eat cereal out of that. I probably would too if I wasn't worried about scuffing it. But you can see, by comparison, how big that cap is compared to the standard grease cap. This is your standard, 3 or 4 inch grease cap. You can see the size difference of this piece versus the standard normal grease caps that most of us are familiar with from that era. But like I said, the 12 is just amazing. 12-cylinder cars are always amazing anyway. And to have this piece, Ironhead he's eat ice cream out of it. Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful piece. I was so excited about it. I had to pay up for it, and I really didn't have a problem. That's when they use whale oil. That could be true, number one. But there again, literally the last one on the shelf, the last new old stock one that they had, and been there for 90 years. And like I said, a little bit of rubbing compound, a little bit of elbow grease, and it came out like this. It wasn't quite 500, but it was still, it was in the multiple hundreds. So, but I didn't have to go up to 500 on it. But it, to me, it's amazing. I love it. I'm excited about it. It's going to get a special spot to get hung. And like I said, unless somebody bought a bunch of these years ago from Doug's dad and stashed them and has them somewhere else, this was the last one on the shelf. This was the 500 Canadian. That could be, I don't know what the exchange rate is, but that definitely affects it. But to me, it's a piece of history. Anything you get into 12 and 16 cylinder cars is a piece of history. It's a time that we'll never see again. It's a time of elegance. It's a time of design magnificence that will never happen. Yeah, thanks, Ironhead. Ironhead said super piece. Yeah, and obviously I'm beyond stoked about it. And like I said, it's kind of tough to spend that kind of money on some of this stuff, but there again, it's the only one out there. It's amazing. It cleaned up beautifully after she polished it out. Cheap shot. That's right. After she polished it out, just like I said, to me, it's a stunning piece. So some really neat stuff. And like I said, I know I kind of played it up pretty good. But I was pretty excited about it. New coat hook in the office. This thing's kind of big for a coat hook. I mean, it's almost as big as my hand. Actually, the back of it is as big as my hand. So it's a good sized piece. And we can take a look and see, and I can give you an idea how big this thing really is. Purse hook, yeah. It's 8 inches across the back. So it's a big, big cap compared to the standard grease caps that, are 2.5 on the threads. That's right, Ironhead. We'll just make more money. Good plan. And 3.5 across. So this thing is, over twice as big as their standard grease caps of that era that we're familiar with. And when we flip it over to the front and just go across the Auburn 12, it's 5 inches across there on the front versus these, which are 3. So that's another reason why it is such a statement piece, is it is so much larger than a lot of the caps from this area or this era, and that's what makes it just amazing to me. So to me, obviously, it's a stunning piece. I'm super excited about it. I got to find a special place to hang that because, like I said, it is a piece of history. It is a time that we'll never see again with these 12-cylinder and 16-cylinder cars. And the design, like I said, they're gorgeous. If you haven't looked some of this stuff up or studied some of this stuff, I strongly encourage you to look at these Auburns, look at these Cords, and then if you aren't familiar with them, that's right, Ironhead, it'd be sweet to have an old wheel to show it off. Actually, Doug's probably got some. I hadn't thought of that. Next time I'm down there, I'll just have to buy a wheel from him. There are actually racks of wheels back there. We've showed some pictures of some of those on their Facebook page. I do have some videos that we shot in their parts department that are getting ready to load. I may try to get one of those up Friday night. I'm so backed up on content right now that I've got so much content I need to get out there. I need to get some more of the Auburn Cord Duesenberg stuff coming. Billy, on that Chevy, call me after we get done on that 49 Chevy, and I can go over some of the details with you on that if you're interested in it. But there's just so much. Like I said, I've been buying so many cars. I picked up 3 yesterday that I've got to get content shot on. Try eating cereal with more fiber, yeah. But I've got all these Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company videos left to post. If you caught the videos I shot at my buddy's place on some cool Ford stuff, I've got a couple more videos I shot at his place. I've got more Auburn Cord Duesenberg videos. I've just backed up on videos, and I don't want to overwhelm everybody and just dump them all on at once. I'm kind of trying to space them out a little bit, over each evening. But I got tons of cool content. But yes, we definitely do have content coming from the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company parts department as well. And like I said, I've got a ton of still pictures we're going to be posting on their page, on the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company page too. So if you haven't caught any of those videos yet from the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company, by all means, go back and check them out. I've got several of them posted. Some of the cars that they've restored. Doug spent some amazing time with us telling stories about his dad. And like I said, call down there and get the books. They tell the story of his dad about buying. I mean, literally, he bought the whole company with a borrowed $20 bill. A borrowed $20 bill and a smashed Lincoln. That's how he got the company bought. Because he had a buddy that had almost a brand new Lincoln, and they wanted to make a statement when they pulled up and talked to the guy that owned it. But the Lincoln was smashed on one side, so they had to strategically park so that the good side of the Lincoln was facing the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company when they pulled up to talk to the guy. All kinds of stories like that, all the way up to when they started when they were manufacturing their own cars. And so, like I said, call down there, give Brian a shout in the parts department. He will get those books out to you. And they are well worth the read. I've read them all and was super impressed and super intrigued by all of them. They were very interesting. So, amazing place. Be sure to check them out. If you're on Facebook, look them up. Give them a like. We're going to be feeding some content that I'm helping them with. And it's just such an amazing place. You don't want to miss it. So, be sure to stay. That's right, Iron. It is a great story. That's why I strongly encourage everybody, call down there, talk to Brian, order the books, and read them yourself, because it's one story after another. Glenn Prey did this because he loved the Cord automobile. He thought the Cord automobile was the most amazing thing he had ever seen, and that's what led to his passion and what led us to here we are in 2021, where the Auburn Company still exists and is going to make a new third-generation Auburn G3 Boattail Speedster. So, in fact, if you missed the... what percentage of my finds are vintage VWs? I don't buy a lot of VWs. I've got a few of them here. I don't stumble across them very often. I do try to pick them up when I can, but I've probably got 10 Volkswagens here, so not a lot of them. If you missed the Toy Tuesday where we had the Gordon Buehrig blueprint of the Auburn Speedster, by all means go back and check that out. I've got it right behind me. If you guys haven't seen it, I can grab it real quick if you guys wanted to take a quick look at it, but we talked about it on a video after I got back from the first time. But absolutely amazing stuff. In fact, let me just grab it real quick and show it to you. Because this print right here, this is actually a tracing of the 35 Auburn Boattail Speedster that was done by Gordon Buehrig, who was the original designer of the car. Flip it around, you can get a little better look at it. I got this from Doug last time we were there. This tracing was done off of the original blueprint for the 35 Auburn Boattail Speedster. And if we look down here in the corner, it says traced by Buehrig in 1957, the original designer. How do I find all these vehicles? People call word of mouth, all the above, old school. Just whatever pops up, you just kind of got to be ready to move when they pop up. So a little bit of everything, and that's how I end up with them. So there is a tracing off of the original blueprint of the 35 Auburn Boattail Speedster, and this tracing was done by the original designer off of the original blueprint. So there again, amazing history. Auburn story should be way bigger news than it is. Bet it blows the more we talk about it. Well, I hope so. I really do. I lost. There we go. There we go. Number one. I brought your comment back up. Bet it blows the more we talk about it on here in other chats. Well, I hope so, because it is an amazing story. They are amazing cars. And if you look some of this stuff up and study them, I mean, look at this thing. The 35 Auburn Boattail Speedster, supercharged, awesome design. And that's right, Ironhead, it is a one-of-a-kind piece. This was, like I said, when you get this is a tracing. It's not the original blueprint, but it is done off of the original blueprint by the original designer, Gordon Burek. He signed it. He marked it. He dated it 1957 when he did this tracing. So there again, one of the most iconic cars from the 30s, the Auburn Boattail Speedster, and that is a tracing off of the original blueprint by the original designer. So a piece of history, just like all this other stuff. Amazing history, amazing stories. And like I said, that's why I just love this stuff. I mean, we're here because we love cars. We love the stories. We love the history. And this stuff, to me, is amazing. So I can't thank Doug enough for all of his hospitality and actually selling me some of this stuff. You know, this is a piece that I never in a million years thought he would even consider selling, but I asked. And he had to think about it. He wasn't real keen on it, but he thought about it a little bit, and we were able to make a deal on it. And like I said, it's probably the only one. There's probably the original somewhere and probably this. But to get a piece done by the original designer of one of the most iconic cars ever made is just so cool. Smithsonian or National Geographic should be documenting this more than just you and your new friends. And I agree. I really do. Obviously, I get excited about this stuff. I geek out about it, but that's because I love cars, and I love the history, and I love the design. To me, the cars are art, just like this piece we just looked at. A tracing of the original blueprint done by the original designer of one of the most iconic cars ever made. And these cars are, you know, $800 to $1,000 to $1 million cars. I mean, they're right at a seven-figure car. And this piece here is a trace off the original blueprint by the guy that designed it. There again, to me, it doesn't get much better than that. But like I said, I geek out about this stuff. I enjoy it. I love it. And that's why we're here hanging out, checking this stuff out. But to me, it's so great. To me, you can't replace it. It's history. I think the tracing should be a T-shirt to raise money and awareness for the American comeback story. That would be cool. Ironhead says TV show on it would be cool. Old school. In 100 years, computer keyboards will be art. I doubt it. You're probably right. Yeah, I doubt it. They all look the same. There are some things in the works with some TV stuff with Doug. He showed me some of it. We've talked in depth about it a lot, and he actually even asked for my opinion on a lot of things that they've been working on. So there is a possibility of some of that. But that's why I shot the videos that I did while I was there. And that's why I've shared them on YouTube with all of you guys, and I hope you've caught some of them. And like I said, I've still got a few more I need to get up, but it is an amazing story. It is an American, literally an American dream story that this school teacher in eastern Oklahoma literally went up to the factory and bought the remnants of the company with a $20 bill that he borrowed out of the teacher's petty cash fund when he left school that day. Literally, that's how he got it done. So there again, if you want to get the whole story, just get the book. Call Brian down at the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company. Tell him you hang out on here with us. Tell him you've been watching us and checking this stuff out, and you want to get the books, and you want to read on it. Like I said, he does still have a few of these on the shelf. You can check with him on these. He can sell you one of these as well. But like I said, some of this stuff they are getting pretty thin on, but I do know they had a few more of those left when I grabbed that one. But like I said, if nothing else, get the books, read the story, study it, and it's an amazing, amazing American dream story. And not only did he buy the company, they produced the Cord 810, the 810 scale cord in the mini. How many Duesenbergs does Leno own? I'm not sure. I know he does have a big collection of them, but I'm not sure. And then after the Cord deal didn't work out, he went back to producing Auburns. And so he, if you look up the Glen Prey cars, be sure to check out the videos we did with our friend Felix down there, an expert on the Glen Prey cars. and so much knowledge there as well. These cars have been lost to time a little bit, I guess is the best way to put it. But they are amazing, amazing automobiles. So be sure to check them out. Be sure to check out the other videos that I've done down there and see what you think of it. Like I said, great people, great operation. And to think that the Auburn Automobile Company, after 121 years, is getting ready to come out with a new Generation 3 Auburn Boattail Speedster that looks like a 35 but has the mechanicals and drivability of today. What were the most common or most produced Auburn Cord Duesenberg models? That I'm not sure of. I would say it's probably, I can't give you an actual specific model, but Auburn did make regular four-door type passenger cars. So I would say Auburn is probably the most produced of them, of the three. Duesenberg's obviously, and Duesenberg did make some regular sedan type cars. However, Duesenberg obviously was always up here. Auburn was always a premium car, but they did make more common sedans. So when you factor those in, the Auburn is probably, the basic Auburn sedans are probably the most common. Cord, obviously, they made the L29, and then they made the 810 and the 812 in 36 and 37, which were the front-wheel drive coffin nose Cords. The new ones are $750,000 is how much the new ones are. And that gives you a hand-formed steel body, not a plastic kit car body. They are hand-formed steel body on an original Auburn chassis with all upgraded mechanicals to make it drive, to where it'll drive 75 miles an hour like a new car, but still have the awesome styling. Big job. His grandpa had a Duesenberg as a kid and drove it like he stole it. And back then, they were just cars. They were used cars. That's what they were. 750K. No, they're handmade in Oklahoma. Hand-built, hand-formed steel bodies that are identical to the Auburn Boattail Speedsters. Mick says tonight's history night. That's a little bit, yeah. Ironhead says he needs to start saving. They are going to be amazing cars. One thing about it, they're only making 6 of them. And the first one is spoken for, so there's only 5 available. So there's not going to be the supply is going to be fairly limited too at that. So, but like I said, it is an amazing place. And please, if you haven't seen the other videos, be sure to check them out. I've still got more content to load from there, but I love the place. Obviously, I love cars, and he might. You never know. He might buy one. Leno may pick one of those up as well. But obviously, I've my passion for cars runs deep. And the design and the styling of these cars, to me, just is amazing. And there again, and this is the perfect example. Yeah, Big Job says we better start buying lottery tickets. This cap does not have to look this amazing. It doesn't. This could have been a plain aluminum cap that said A on it. Ironhead says he bets Leno buys one too. But look at the design and the polishing and the painting that went into one cap for one wheel. It comes out that amazing. Won't they need crash testing? Actually, with the new laws in the U.S., number one says Leno will do an episode for one in exchange. In U.S., they did finally just pass the Low Volume Motor Vehicle Act. Thanks, Big Job. He agrees with me. It is beautiful. Finally, SEMA, they literally had to sue the EPA to get it done, but they have put into place the Low Volume Motor Vehicle Act. Seaburn says, my buddy Robert, the 810 Cord was the basis for the 78, 79 Dodge Magnum design, and you can see that in the nose of the Magnum. I can definitely see that, Robert. Thanks for throwing that up there. But with the Low Volume Motor Vehicle Act, I think that you can produce up to 3 or 350 cars that resemble an old car with modern drivetrains that are capable of meeting emission standards. And like I said, these are going to look like original. They are going to be original Auburn 8-cylinder engines. However, everything you can't see inside of them is going to be more efficient, stronger, work better, and make them a much more user-friendly engine. So there is some laws there where you don't have to do crash testing in the United States right now on low-volume vehicles. So anyway, that's something else that to take into consideration on some of this specialty stuff. But fortunately, that has gotten passed. But like I said, the time period we're talking about back in the 30s, just amazing. I wish I knew more about it. I know a little bit about it. I've learned a lot from Doug. Doug is an expert on this stuff because obviously he grew up with it. But to me, I love it, and I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited to add these pieces to my collection. You know, these knockoffs, I mean, these things are big and heavy, but great pieces, and super excited to own them. So we've gone really long tonight. I'm glad you guys are hanging out with me. I'm glad you guys haven't gotten completely bored with me and bailed off. I'm glad you guys found it interesting and enjoyed it as well, because you know, I've had a ton of fun with this. Obviously, I'm passionate about it. The Great Depression was a turning point in car evolution, Old School says, and I think that's right, and that's the other thing to think about. When we look at this piece right here, when we look at this Auburn Boattail Speedster, maybe that's right, Iron says maybe we'll see some other older cars come back around, and that's a possibility. When we look at this design on this Auburn Boattail Speedster, supercharged, exhaust coming out the side, Gulf bag door, boat tail design. We can see here from the top view how the boat tail literally came all the way back to here to a point in the back. We can see the flowing, huge pontoon type fenders. We see the front fender here with the headlights, the massive grille, and see how amazing these cars were. And that's a great point. You think about that, and you think about how many of those cars could they sell during the Depression? Not very many. You look at the grille emblems that these cars had, shiny, flashy, beautiful. There again, Depression. Caps like this, 12-cylinder, huge 12-cylinder cars. Once again, Depression era. Big, huge wire wheels with knockoffs. That's right, Old School, so much more imagination back then. Big, heavy knockoffs, brass Auburn badge. This one had Auburn cast into it. And there again, Depression era. You think about it, it's the Depression. There isn't, people aren't buying cars, period, much less big, huge 12 and 16 cylinder, expensive, flashy cars. So when you think back and you look, wow, this stuff actually happened. You wouldn't think that it even would have been possible. Now, unfortunately, it did lead to the demise of the companies, though, as well. Because they weren't building, you know, super cheap, super inexpensive cars for people. They were a luxury car manufacturer, always had been. And ultimately, it did lead to their demise because of the Depression. Ironhead agrees, cars had style. They had a ton of style. And that's why I get so excited about it. They are works of art. Old School is on to something with streamlining the design was a huge step forward. The A10 Cord and Chrysler Airflow, major part of that. That's 100% true, Robert. You know, the Airflow Chrysler products that came out in this same window, it was a whole different deal. Big job. The exhaust systems were cool out the side. My grandpa said he would have flames coming out the sides on his Duesenberg. So, but that's why I geek out about it. It's a time in history that we'll never see again. It won't ever happen. There's too many laws. There's too many restrictions. There's too many regulations. But the cars are art. To me, it's all art. And that's why I can appreciate it. And that's why I can love it. And that's why the things like this cap, to me, are so amazing. That you look back at, I mean, look what it would take just to produce this cap over just a plain blank. And that's another thing, like Old School says, too many lawsuits. This could have just been a blank piece of aluminum. No paint, no, you know, nothing stamped in it, no nothing. Instead, they showed off what it was. They wanted everybody to know you had a 12-cylinder, you had an Auburn, and you were riding in style. And that was pretty amazing for back then. So, like I said, unfortunately, it did lead to the demise of the company. But here we are, 90 years later, talking about the amazing designs, what Gordon Buick did with not only the Auburn Boattail Speedster in 35-36, but Gordon Buick also did the 810 and 812 cords, the coffin nose cord that we're all familiar with. And, if you didn't catch the other video, on the coffin nose cord stuff we added to our collection, the whole entire hood and grill assembly off of a coffin nose cord that we bought from Doug last time we were there. Be sure to check that one out as well. So, Anyway, we've been on here a long time tonight. I had no intention, no idea this was going to go this long, but I'm glad it did. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad you guys engaged. You asked a lot of great questions. You had a ton of great comments tonight, and that's what this is all about. Even though it's just a Toy Tuesday and we're just looking at a few pieces of memorabilia, when you guys engage and want to get involved, that's what makes it amazing. Thanks, Big Job. For my love of cars, what makes the show great? Well, I don't know if that's what makes the show great. I don't know, me sitting here babbling into my phone makes a great show, but we try. Dan says all the manufacturers pat themselves on the back like they did something. They all look the same. Yeah, and back in this era, this stuff was just amazing and gorgeous. Old School says Italians still had the best auto designers, and Italy always put out some amazing stuff too as well. And back in the 30s, they cranked out some amazing cars too. But this stuff that Auburn and Cord and Duesenberg and some of these companies were doing in the 30s, they hung right in there with the Italian designers back then. I guarantee you that, because granted, there were some beautiful cars coming out of Italy, but these cars were absolutely gorgeous as well. So, unfortunately, by the time we got to today, we've lost a lot of that in the car industry. Old School says Ferdinand Porsche as well. That's true. Porsche did make some amazing cars too back in the day. But we just don't see it today. We see neat designs. We see a lot of different angles. Fortunately, car designers are trying to get back to doing some stuff. Big Shops just says they're all new ones or cookie cutter. Fortunately, they are attempting a little bit of refocus on design. I hope that continues. However, what I don't like about a lot of the design we see today is obviously a lot of it is plastic and molded rubber and things like that. When we look at these Auburns and these Duesenbergs and these Cords, this was all steel, real steel. It had to fit, it had to work, it had to be functional, it had to fit. New Ford Broncos, I have seen some. They don't stand out to me. They look kind of like another SUV with some different rounded type edges on them to me. So to me, they're not that exciting, but I've never been a huge Bronco fan anyway. But not extremely impressed with what I've seen of them so far. And they're probably great vehicles, but I personally don't have any desire to own one. Big Job said steel is real, and that's 100%. This stuff was 100% real steel. So Ironhead says, thanks for a lot of cool history. I'm glad you made it tonight. We do need to wrap up. I'm sure you guys don't want to listen to me babble anymore. But like I said, great chat tonight. I'm glad you guys hung out. We had an awesome time. The feedback, the comments, the questions, that's what makes it great. I mean, I can sit here and talk as long as you guys are hanging out and want to engage. That's what makes things fun, because then I learn stuff too. So anyway, like I said, any other questions, comments, be sure to throw them up there. We'll go ahead and get ready to start wrapping up. Because like I said, we went long tonight for Toy Tuesday, but like my buddy Robert says, 100% true. I don't think we'll ever have another Harley Earl or Virgil Exner era. And I agree with that totally. Harley Earl, Virgil Exner, a lot of those designs from the 50s, things like that, we'll never see that again. Similar to the Gordon Buick designs of the 30s. Beautiful cars, beautiful machines, and they were art. And I don't know any other way to explain it. When you factor in that, a lot of these cars had two-tone paint schemes. If you didn't catch the video on the 34 Auburn Salon, be sure to go and look at it. At first glance, that car doesn't look like it's a two-tone, but it is. It's two different shades of red. One's a deeper burgundy, one's a lighter maroon. But you can't see it at a first glance, but when you look at the lines on that car, it is amazing. Dan says, Big Daddy, Don Garlett's always said, if it ain't steel, it ain't real. And if you've been to his collection, you would know that, because I've been through his museum, and there's a whole bunch of cool old Fords in there, and they're all real steel. They're real Henry steel. So that's 100% true as well. So anyway, but that's right. The paint schemes, the chrome, the design, the lights, the emblems, the trim, everything that we saw back in these days we'll never see again. That's why I love being able to, even though I can't own all the cars, because you can't own all the cars. There's no way to own all the cars. Jay Leno has a ton of cars. He can't own all the cars because there's too many of them. But getting pieces like this to add to my collection, getting pieces like the grill badges, Big Job's got to bail off, glad you made it. All these little pieces of history that I can add to my memorabilia collection is what I love. And that's why I strongly encourage you guys to watch out. Some of the stuff doesn't break the bank. You know, I mean, these caps are new old stock Auburn. They're a little more money, but a lot of these old grease caps, you can buy some cool ones for 20, 30, 40 bucks a piece. Some of the more common ones, 10, 15 bucks a piece. You don't have to go spend 2,000 bucks on a porcelain sign. Yeah, that's right. Like Olsen, nobody's ever going to own it all. You can't. And that's why I enjoy collecting the memorabilia as much as the cars. And that's right. Like my buddy Robert says, thanks, Ralph Nader. Ralph Nader messed up a lot of stuff for car guys. So it's a good point, Robert. Glad you brought that up. But with his Unsafe at Any Speed book about the Corvair and things like that, and, you know, the onslaught of NHTSA and all the regulations. But what we do have today, you know, 90 years later on this particular stuff we're looking at, you know, not quite as old as some of the stuff in the 50s and 60s, but we can enjoy it. We can hang out here on a Tuesday night while I'm talking into my phone and all you guys are here with me and we're enjoying it. We're talking about it. We're having an awesome conversation about it. And we're all studying this stuff. And I know some of you guys, I hope some of you guys are going to look some of this stuff up after we get done. Look up some of the Auburns. Look up the cords. Look at the pictures. Look at the designs. They're amazing. Be sure to check out the acdfactory.com or Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, be sure to give those guys a like to keep up with what they've got going on, some of the content that I'm going to be putting out over there to help them out as well. So anyway, guess we better get off of here. I need to get to work. I'm sure you guys have got to be tired of listening to me talk after 45 minutes. But, hey, if we're hanging out and having a great time, I am more than willing to hang out and chat with you guys. So we'll get ready to start wrapping up. Any other questions, comments, be sure to throw them up there here in the next few seconds, and I will sure try to get to them. Inevitably, there's always something that pops up as soon as we shut the feed off. So Dan says he can't lead fiberglass. That's true, but if you can even lead, that's a lost art in and of itself, the fact that you can even lead metal still. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the history. Call ACD Factory, get the books, study it, read it. Amazing story. Stay tuned. More content coming from there. More new inventory content coming up. Like I said, tons of videos I've got in the can. Big Job says never gets tired of me. Well, I appreciate that, but I can't see you guys wanting to hang out with me all that much. But I don't think I'm all that interesting. But I just love the stuff. I have a passion for it. I know that's why you guys are here. Tell your friends, invite them to come by and hang out. I mean, that's what this deal's about. Is Dan says he can lead, and that is definitely a lost art. But tell them to swing by and hang out. We're here because we love cars, we love trucks, we love memorabilia, and that's the whole purpose of this deal. And I'm still shocked and amazed that you guys come by and hang out with me, but you do. We have a good time, and that's what it's all about. So looks like the comments are slowing up. So I guess we'll go ahead and bail off. I'm going to get to work. As always, thanks for coming by tonight. I can't believe you guys hung out with me for 48 minutes tonight, and we had such an awesome time. I hope you enjoyed the stuff. Tomorrow night, we'll get some more new inventory up, video. I'll probably pop another video Thursday night, which I don't typically do, but I've got so much stuff. Friday night, I'll try to get up another Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company video since we're talking about those guys this week. And like I said, tons of stuff coming in, tons of content I need to get out. And stay tuned, lots of exciting things coming up. As always, if you have specific questions about vehicles or parts, give me a call, 620-786-4428. That number's on most of the videos. And we should have a conversation about what you need. Thanks for being here, Ironhead. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with me tonight. We had a great crowd tonight. And shocked that you guys have stayed on with me this long. But I guess that means you enjoyed it as much as I did. So thanks for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night with some more cool stuff. Got any questions, give me a shout. And if nothing else, we will definitely see, hopefully most of you guys back with us on Sunday night, 7 o'clock, Sunday night live chat. And we'll talk about some more cool old car stuff. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. That's right, Big Job. I'll give you a fist bump right back. How about that? Like I said, I can't thank you guys enough. I'm amazed that you guys hang out and we do this. Thanks, Dan. I don't catch all the comments between Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then all the pages that I help manage on Facebook, plus the YouTube channels I help manage. There's no way to keep up with all the comments, but I love when you guys are on with me. I love your guys' support, and when you guys post them right here in front of me, I do catch it, and I do see it, and it is amazing, and still shocks me that you guys want to hang out. But, hey, if you want to hang out, we'll do it because I love this stuff as much as you do. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to bail off. I know we keep saying that. Time to go. Got to get to work. I know you're sick of listening to me, so We're going to jump off. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow night on some more videos, and definitely hope to see you all Sunday night on Sunday Night Live Chat. We'll have a great time then as well. Thanks for being here tonight, everybody, and we will see you soon on the next video.